I'm going to hold a lecture about Salah ad-Din Yusuf ibn Ayyub, and this lecture is based on a lecture I heard on www.kalamullah.com. I will tell you the details of it later on, and also a website which I can't remember now. Anyway, Salah ad-Din Yusuf ibn Ayyub was born in the year of 1138 in the city of Tikrit, modern-day Iraq, to a Kurdish family. In the year 1139, Salah ad-Din, along with his father and uncle, Asad ad-Din Shirkuh, moved to Mosul, where Salah ad-Din's father joined the service of Imad ad-Din Zengi, who made Salah ad-Din's father the commander of a fortress in Balbek, modern-day Lebanon. During his education, he was very interested in Islam and even became a scholar of Islam. He was sent to the Halakat of Ilm and became one of the Fuqaha of the Shafi madhab. Furthermore, he had memorized the genealogies of all the Arab tribes and even the bloodline of the Arabian horses. The characteristics of Salah ad-Din: he was very modest and gave a lot in charity. It is said that at the time of his death, he did not have even enough money in his casket to pay zakat or even for his own burial. And remember that this was a leader of a whole nation. It is also reported that he gave over 10,000 horses to the people. He used modest clothing. He did not use jewelry, etc., to show that he was the leader. If we were to see Salah ad-Din today, we would not be able to tell the difference between Salah ad-Din and the common people. The ones who controlled the wealth of the nation used to hide the money from Salah ad-Din, and because he spent so generously on the people, the economists were worried that there would not be money left if there would be a disaster, such as a famine. And it was even possible for the citizens to meet Salah ad-Din. He did not say, "Speak with my ministers," or "Speak with someone else." No, he invited the people to him, and he was very patient with them. People would curse and be rude at him, but he would sit and listen. He also ate very modestly and could not find rest. He would find rest only once the Muslims had conquered back the land that they had lost to the invading Christians. Salah ad-Din was also modest in showing his emotions and did not seek anyone's pity. When he was out on a war campaign, he received word that his son had died, but he did not go around telling people about it. People could see tears running down on his face, but he did not utter a word of it. Salah ad-Din ibn Ayyub's military career started when he joined his uncle's Asad ad-Din Shirkuh's staff, who served under Nur ad-Din, the commander of Damascus and Aleppo. Soon Salah ad-Din and his uncle set out to battle the Frankish rulers in Egypt of the states that were created at the times of the First Crusade. And this led to a complex three-way struggle between Amalric first, the Latin king of Jerusalem, Shalwa, the Fatimid vizier, and Shirkuh. On January 2nd, 1169, Salah ad-Din broke the siege of Cairo by the Franks, and after 6 days Salah ad-Din reached the city walls themselves. And on January 18th, Salah ad-Din lured Shalwa to an ambush and killed him. Hence, his uncle Shirkuh became the vizier of the Fatimid Khilafah, but died on the 23rd of March. Salah ad-Din then became the vizier to the last Fatimid Caliph, who died in 1171. In 1174, Salah ad-Din became the first Ayyubid Sultan. When Nur ad-Din then again died on May 15, 1174, Salah ad-Din, as the ruler of Egypt, had the right to the throne, and now became the ruler of Egypt and Syria. Salah ad-Din represented Orthodox Islam, and as the Fatimid Caliph died, he started to make Egypt a center of Orthodox Islam. He even abolished a lot of the taxes that the Fatimids had implemented. Salah ad-Din then moved on to recapturing village after village and city after city from the Crusaders. And then on July 2nd, in order to lure out the Crusader army from Jerusalem, Salah ad-Din laid siege to the fortress of Tiberias. The Crusaders took the bait and left the springs of Safaria and began a tiring march through the desert to repel Salah ad-Din. On July 3rd, the Crusaders came under attack from Muslim skirmishers on horseback, and Salah ad-Din sent a flanking division around the Crusaders, cutting off their line of retreat and seizing the spring of Turan. In the morning next day, Salah ad-Din set up fires, and the smoke blinded the Crusaders while Muslim cavalry shot over 400 loads of arrows against them. In despair, the Crusader army tried to advance to the springs of Hettin, but were utterly defeated by Salah ad-Din's attack. Out of 20,000 Crusaders, 17,000 died. Only 3,000 got away, and a lot of the Crusaders' leaders were taken as prisoners. Salah ad-Din then marched onto Jerusalem and besieged the city. Jerusalem capitulated on October 2nd, 1187. Salah ad-Din had offered generous terms, but he refused to promise terms of quarter to the Franks, but agreed once Balian of Ibelin, the commander of Jerusalem, threatened to kill 5,000 Muslim hostages and to destroy the Dome of Rock and the Al-Aqsa. Then terms were agreed upon, and all the Christians were allowed to leave and were escorted by the Muslim army to Christian lands. Salah ad-Din Yusuf ibn Ayyub died in Damascus March 4th, 1193, and was buried in the garden outside the Umayyad Mosque in Damascus. And more about Salah ad-Din's personality. He was a very chivalrous person. He had Richard, who was his enemy. Richard was a Crusader king, and Salah ad-Din got to know that Richard had fallen sick and was wounded, and he even sent Salah ad-Din sent his own doctors to Richard, and sent him fruits and ice, etc., so he would become well. Led that Salah ad-Din has been respected by all Muslims and non-Muslims. In Egypt, in Europe, people would hail Salah ad-Din for his chivalry. And when he captured Jerusalem, he left the I was saying that that when the Crusaders took Jerusalem, they slaughtered everyone, Jews, Muslims, and Christians, and that the blood ran on the streets, and the blood would come up to the knee. And there is a lot more to Salah ad-Din than this, but I hope that this gave like a brief insight into his personality and what he has done for Islam and Muslims, inshallah ta'ala. Jazakallah khair for listening.